Something's been puzzling me as of late. Almost a decade ago, when I started yo-yoing, if you had a super wide yo-yo, you were considered a cheater. They would say it took no skill to hit your string tricks with a wide yo-yo. Fast forwarding to today, and it seems that everybody has a yo-yo that is 55 millimeters or wide. What was once thought as cheating seems to be looked at as the new meta. Today, we're going to be diving into how yo-yo width has changed over the years, why they went from slim skill-based precision tools to those monster-sized string-hitting machines, and most importantly, why the community completely changed its mind about them altogether. When I first started yo-yoing, the thought of a super wide yo-yo was kind of taboo in a sense. Standard size yo-yos back then were small, narrow. It took a lot of precision and skill to hit your string tricks due to the gap being so tiny. But with a wider yo-yo, the catch zone was a lot easier. It required less accuracy needed to hit your tricks. So naturally, most of the purists or elitists at the time saw it as an unfair advantage. Why should we respect you more for using a wider yo-yo? It doesn't take as much skill to hit your tricks. And the biggest case in point to this was the Yo-Yo Factory Super Wide. When this yo-yo first came out, people hated it. They said it was ugly, it was too wide. Nobody can use this in competition play. And partially, they were right. The yo-yo was ridiculously big, for no reason to be honest. Especially at a time when yo-yos were naturally half of the size of what the super wide was. But of course, there's always going to be some skeptics. There were people who were using it, but did they get clowned on? Ungodly. But fast forward to today, and suddenly the yo-yo scene has embraced wider designs. You've got yo-yos like the Outlier 6, that is a total of 60 millimeters wide. But this is the yo-yo that sparked the conversation for me. I recently acquired an Outlier 5, and the Outlier 5 is a total of 55 millimeters wide. And I'm gonna tell you, this thing in the hand feels ginormous. It feels absolutely ginormous compared to most of the yo-yos I already use. So when I heard that the Outlier 6 was coming out and it was gonna be 60 millimeters, I was like, why? It doesn't need to get any bigger than this. Why do we need to get bigger than 55 millimeters? At this point, it just feels ridiculous. But it isn't the only yo-yo that's doing it. Just like the Outlier 6, the Super G from Yo-Yo Champions, I'm pretty sure is Gentry Stein's yo-yo, is also a super wide yo-yo. And there's other companies doing it as well. C3 has an ungodly wide amount of yo-yos. Yo-Yo Factory, Duncan, all the brands seem to be doing it now. Most of these yo-yos are starting to basically feel like a giant flying saucer in your hand. But why? Why are all these companies suddenly changing? There's a few reasons why. The first one I can think about, and it seems to be the most important one, is the competition style is evolving. Freestyles got faster with more complex combos and riskier string hits. A bigger catch zone makes it more likely and more consistent for you to hit your tricks. Have you seen Mir Kim's freestyle? Half of those tricks are impossible to hit with a small yo-yo. I'm not saying that it isn't possible, I'm saying that it would be hard. The second reason why I think this change is happening is players' expectations have changed over the years. The new generation of yo-yo players didn't have the same hang-ups about purity or skill level or if it's cheating or not. They grew up seeing wider yo-yos as their normal, so it is the baseline to them, unlike most of us who've been doing this for a very long time. On top of that, another factor I think is manufacturer improvement. Weight distribution and stability tech made wide yo-yos not just gimmicky, but serious competition-based tools. There's a big improvement. You can feel it in the yo-yos. Grab a yo-yo from the early 2000s that was the big champion or the big hitter back then, even as far back as 2014. And compare it to one of the wide competition-based yo-yos now. They're two different beasts. They don't play the same anymore. Things have changed. And a lot of people are either going to accept the change or hate it all entirely. But at the end of the day, why does this matter? This isn't just about size upgrade. It's a design philosophy shift. We've gone from testing raw accuracy to optimizing performance for modern day yo-yo tricks. And honestly, the skill gap didn't disappear. Players just started using the extra whiff to do more complicated tech tricks or more bound breaking tricks. Some of the horizontal tricks that people hit now are impossible. Some of the most dense tech tricks just seem unbelievably complex to do. And the only reason they can do it is because the gap width of the yo-yo is so wide. So many string layers can go into the yo-yo now. And at the same time, the yo-yos are just better. So yeah, it may be a little crazy, but the world literally went from laughing about the super wide, saying that it's foolish, to praising yo-yos like the Super G and the Outlier 6 that are soon to come out, even though they're equivalently the same thing. And who knows, in a few years, we might look back and think 66 millimeters is small. At one point, we might have our yo-yos the size of Diabolos.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Because if there's one thing that yo-yo history has taught me over the years, that at one point something is too much, and in the future it's just right. If you've been around long enough to remember when wide yo-yos were a joke, drop your favorite memory in the comments. And if you're new here, let me know. Do you think bigger is better, or is there just a point where it's too wide and ridiculous? Regardless, I want to hear your opinions in the comments below. Do you like the new trend of super wide yo-yos, or do you think we should go back to where we were before? Until the next time I ramble on, guys, I am Echo. Peace out, everybody. I don't know how I feel about that.